Good evening, everyone. At this time, I would like to call the Neighborhood Improvement Services Advisory Committee to order. I would also like to thank the viewing audience for tuning in tonight. I would like to also ask Mr. Steve to lead us in our invocation.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day and for those that are coming. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to represent the citizens of Jacksonville as we do our best to improve the services of the city of Jacksonville and the opportunities to the citizens. We do this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Steve. I'd like to welcome all of the members and participants and the staff and others. We'll take this time to introduce ourselves.
Brian Jackson, City Council Liaison.
Gloria Whitney, member.
Pamela Trafton, Senior Neighborhood Improvement Services Coordinator.
Tracy Jackson, Director of Neighborhood Improvement Services.
Marsha Wright, committee member.
Steve Forney, Vice Chair and Member.
I'm Will Smith, Chair and Member. Thank you so much. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the agenda? Are there any changes to the agenda? Okay, if no changes or additions, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion is carried. Thank you very much. The minutes from December 19th are provided for consideration to all the members. Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes? Okay, any changes or additions to those minutes? Okay, if no changes or addition, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you very much. Any discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The motion is carried.
I just want to comment on that. The talk or the presentation given by Mark Sutherland was extremely informative and approved. I mean, he did a great job.
Great. Thanks so much. All right, so now we have a planning board update.
Actually, we don't have an update because business as normal. Yep. No exceptions to the rule.
Great. Now I have a quick question about the planning board. Like, is that an open meeting for citizens?
It is.
Okay, great.
Most recently, but I think it's all been retracted as to the number in attendance. But you know, during the COVID timeframe,
Okay.
we could only put about 10 people in that room.
Okay, great. Can you just say the
Yep.
dates and times that people can show up if they would like?
It's actually the first Monday of every month. And if you take a look at the City Hall calendar that was delivered, gosh, I want to say within the first week of January, you'll see that all of our different meetings are on that city calendar.
Great.
What's the time on
Oh, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock on the first Monday.
it? Here in City Hall.
Here in City Hall, actually in council chambers.
Thank you so much. Now we have a community development. Ms. Tracy.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to give an overview. We're going to be talking about CDBG planning to include the funding from the CARES Act, the annual action plan, and some current CD projects we have ongoing. So as of yesterday, the CARES Act funds the water utility assistance. We had about 751 applications, 278 houses was funded, for a total of a little bit over $134,000 that were spent. We have a balance of about $10,000 that we just allocated to Onslow Community Outreach to help those folks in Town Center who would like to relocate out of Town Center. We also have a public input meeting that's scheduled for March 16th at 6 p.m. Our members of NESAC, you're welcome to attend, but we also welcome public comment for the planning purposes of our annual action plan. So come on out to the next meeting that's scheduled at New Beginnings Christian Center. That's on Belfoot Road. It starts at 6 p.m. So please plan to be there.
What's the date on this? I'm sorry. The date again is?
March the 16th. It's going to be March the 16th, 6 p.m., New Beginnings Christian Center. Just wanted to go over some CD projects also. We're finalizing the renovations at 427 and 429 Myrtlewood. That's in Country Club Villas. 429 has been completed. Right now, we're planning on doing the paving in the area where those units are located. And also, we're going to be installing fences for those units as well. We just installed sod at the units that needed to have sod. So we're excited that we're nearing the end of this process and this revitalization strategy effort in Country Club Villas. Also wanted to tell you all that the survey that's associated with the planning process of the annual action plan has been completed. The last survey entered was on the 20th of February. So this week we'll be awarding 2 people $50 gift cards for participating in the survey. So good luck to everyone who participated. As I said, for the people in Town Center, we have $10,000 that has been awarded to Onslow Community Outreach to assist those people in Town Center who wish to move out of those apartments. And I'm going to let Councilman Brian Jackson give us a status update on the Town Center status.
Thank you. Currently, I know we got 67 families out there. 16 are on Section 8. We have 12 that are being evicted that I know of right now because of where they live, and they're supposed to be starting, I guess, work on an area. So, information is still kind of sketchy because still trying to figure out, who's actually where. And we have folks out there that are paying, but not necessarily under contract. Strange, but true. So, and we're trying to work with organizations that's providing resources for the folks, like you said, Onslow Community Outreach, and there are other organizations that I know are coming online. And maybe you could help discuss about some of the things that's happening.
Okay.
All right, as well. But for now, that's where we are with Town Center, and we just want to keep on trying to support those folks as much as we can, and based on what we would like, based on the way that the ownership is going, is trying to get people resettled. Because what happened is those apartments, 1 bedroom, is gonna be $8.99. 2 bedrooms, I think it's $11.99, and then we have 3 bedrooms at $12.99. And those folks on Section 8, because of the limitations, will not be able to stay there. And then a lot of folks that are, low income, they're not gonna be able to stay as well because of the increase in the rents. Letters have been going out to individuals about when they are gonna have to be evicted or, when they will have to leave because they're month to month.
Okay.
So that's really all that I have for right now, unfortunately.
All right, thank you.
Now we're going to turn it over to Pamela Trafton, who's going to talk about the rest of our activities in community development.
Good evening, everyone. So our demolitions, we're currently at 161 units that have been demolished since we've been keeping track. We currently have 2 that's currently in the pipeline that we'll be working through as well. Our demolition program is voluntarily for those that identify slum and blight through the community and need assistance in removing those properties. Our money management seminar, we have one coming up April 22nd. This is a free class from 9 to 12 on Saturdays, and we have started meeting at the Jacksonville station, which is the new transportation building on Marine Boulevard. Registration for this one, you may call us at 910-938-5286. The Homebuyers Education course, our upcoming class is March 18th. That one is $25 per person. And again, we're meeting at the Jacksonville station. And I have to pause because this is our first meeting of the year and a lot has taken place since December 19th, 2022. So the first thing that we have to do is congratulate our Neighborhood Improvement Services Department of the City of Jacksonville because we are officially a HUD-approved housing counseling agency.
All right.
I had to pause. We can't talk business as usual because we've been moving and shaking in our department. So what that means specifically that we have been talking about is this is an opportunity for us to not only counsel citizens in the city of Jacksonville, but now also in the county of Onslow County, being able to help provide down payment assistance. We were just on a call today with North Carolina Housing and Finance Agency because this now opens the door for us to be able to provide community partner loan pool funds, which will be able to go to citizens of Onslow County. So now we're able to help city residents and county residents be able to purchase a home in Onslow County, City of Jacksonville. So we're very excited. We will want our classes full. They're full now, but we want a fuller because, you know, the opportunity of being able to have home ownership is going to be greatly needed. The counseling, it allows us to start where you're currently at. So even if you're not able to buy a house today, we want you to be able to go from not being able to buy a house today to being able to purchase a home, because this is what we want to happen. We want to take one of our city lots, start construction at the end of October, and then by the beginning of January, have a new homeowner that has moved into this house. So we are excited because this person that has now a new homeowner, first-time homeowner, she went through the class. She started the homebuyer education class. She went through the money management class, and she did the one-on-one counseling sessions to be able to prepare herself to move into this home. And so we are excited and looking for the next homeowners. Did I see a question? Yes, sir.
What was your appraised value on the house?
205.
This one was about 205.
Wow. Taxpayer for the city?
Huh?
Another taxpayer for the city.
Yes.
Amen.
That is correct. This of course, we purchased this dilapidated house on this lot, and we demolished the structure, and we had a vacant lot that was not generating any revenue because city do not pay taxes. So now we are generating about, over the course of 30 years, it's going to probably be a little bit more than $59,000 over the course of 30 years. So we're excited that we were able to put this brand new homeowner into this house. It was a perfect storm to where we had a builder that already had the materials, and then she was ready to go. So that's why we went with this scenario.
Yeah, and we were able to use Jumpstart Investment, Miss Hallie Dabo, as our builder. So it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, she's a woman-owned minority business.
With that, our additional CD projects, so as Ms. Jackson stated, we have completed the renovations of 427 and 429. And as you stated, currently 429 has received sod in the front yard. 516, which we'll see that one receive sod in the back. And then these homes, the last phase that we have is fence installation in the back. So that's prior to the fences. And then this is what 429 now looks like. We've seen the pre-pictures early on, but this is, I really do like this one. I mean, every time I walk into it, I'm like, ooh. So,
You don't say that about the other ones?
I do, but it's something about this one.
I'm gonna tell you what's about this one. This is the first one that Pam oversaw from start to finish. So,
Little bias there, right?
that's why she's a little bit biased, but I am very, very pleased that I could turn over the process to her, and this is her first one from start to finish that she is able to accomplish. But so, kudos to Pam. And learning how to get these projects and, learn project management and get these projects from start to finish. But the finished product is, of course, the sale of the home. So she still got a little bit
Right.
more to go.
Yeah, no, viewing audience, I want you to understand that all the homes are wonderful inside. It's just this one, we went with a gray scheme. So when you walk in, that gray just pops differently.
Others are great too.
I just, look, we're gonna pass because we want the homeowners to move in. We want the homeowners to move in.
Well, I'm gonna say kudos to both of you,
Yeah.
but also Tracy, and giving Pam the opportunity to actually do the work. Sometimes we have folks in departments or supervisors that hold on to things so tight, and giving you an opportunity to learn. There's certain things you're gonna be able to do if Tracy's not available. So, other than the things you already do.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but with these homes, these are the last two that we have currently available. So 427 is a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. That one is selling for $120,000. 429 is a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, selling for $100,000. And yes, I want more potential homeowners to be like, I need to be knocking on the city's doors, because this is a great opportunity for someone who thought they may not be able to purchase a home to come in and purchase a home. And we say that because 516 will be sold on Thursday.
Good job.
Good.
So-
Yeah.
We have a new homeowner that is preparing to close on this home Thursday afternoon. And so that will officially leave us down to 2 homes to sell in this neighborhood.
And I'm very, very pleased to note that this home is going to be sold to one of our very own city employee.
All right, good.
And this is the insides of 516. So as you can tell, home ownership is definitely a passion within our department, and we just want to see the next homeowners come through.
So how many homes total have you sold out in
And Country Club Villas.
Thank you.
So once the last 2, it'll be 5 total.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up is our nonprofits. So our nonprofit executive directors, we have a meetup on Thursday, March 16th from 11 to 1. This is open to executive directors only, as we want them to be able to come forth, talk amongst the peers, identify what issues are amongst the nonprofit community, help identify solutions. So please register at jacksonvillenc.gov/nonprofit for Thursday, March 16th at 11 a.m. Our youth council is making moves in these next coming months. We have our meeting coming up this Wednesday, March 1st at 5 p.m. That will be taking place here at City Hall. In these last few months, we have partnered with Onslow County Health Department to discuss the issues of vaping within the community. So for February, March, April, and May, we will be meeting with Onslow County Health Department, and they're going to be teaching the youth about the issues of vaping, how to be that peer support, and why they should not be vaping. So that's this Wednesday. Registration has opened for our Mayor Youth Summit today. That takes place on Saturday, March 25th from 9 to 2. This is an annual event on a Saturday that allows youth from grades 8 through 12 to come together. And the topics we're going to discuss this year is about motivation and succeeding, professionalism, etiquette when it comes to interview skills and preparing for jobs, and then also looking at resume writing. This year, we decided to go down the route in preparation for our Teen Youth Volunteer Fair that we've partnered with Onslow County Toastmasters to do elevator pitch. What the teens will learn at this event is how to sell themselves in 1 to 2 minutes when they're standing across from an employer or a volunteer coordinator, to be able to take those 1 or 2 minutes to give them, why should you hire me? What's the best reason of putting me with your organization? So this takes place on April 27th from 6 to 8 at the Jacksonville Youth Center. And then our Teen Volunteer and Job Fair will take place on May 6th, which is a Saturday, from 11 to 2. And that is open to ages 14 through 18. So potential employers, please reach out to us at 910-938-5286 if you're interested in being an employer, or if you're a volunteer agency and you need additional volunteers as well.
Pam, can you send us out those slides?
Yes,
So we
sir.
could actually forward it to others.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I do have a question about the new status you have with HUD. Is that going to open up opportunities for the city of Jacksonville to go after funding that will allow, I don't use the term affordable housing anymore because it's really meaningless.
Right.
It's income-based housing that we need to be talking about. If you live in somewhere where houses are $1 million and everybody's making $1 million, and on $1 million house is affordable, it is not affordable to the people that we're talking about. Because when you mentioned 67 families are going to have to leave town center, there's just no way it would take us the next 50 years to get everybody into home ownership. For some of those people, this is not a viable option for them, at least on the short term. And I'm wondering, with them, is there some kind of an exit interview? Is there some kind of, in other words, when you tell them you've got to go in 30 days, does anybody know where they're going? Does anyone know how they're going to get there and how long they're going to have to stay before they might possibly? And I guess they couldn't come back to town center because of the rent's going up where it is.
It's going up, but we
And
don't
them
know
living
how
in
long
town
it's gonna
center
take to
they're
actually
there
for
the
the
last
rebuild.
time. And there is no place to
So, a lot of
go.
questions. And other than the monies go through Onslow Community Outreach, then we'll know, through them or other resources that might assist, but other than that, we
Yeah,
really
one of the
won't know.
stipulations of those funds is they have to, and I think Onslow Community Outreach would assist them in finding an affordable or a place where they can afford to continue to pay rent, because the funding is just for the security deposit, first month rent, and some utility deposits. But they have to be able and have the income to be able to maintain, to live in those apartments. We do have some people that are coming forward that are saying, hey, I got 2 units, and we're giving that information to Onslow Community Outreach so that they'll know to reach out for these, units. This person is agreeing to do this. We've been in conversation with the president of the Board of Realtors and trying to see if someone would come forward to, assist those folks. But this story is a nationwide
Oh, yeah.
situation.
And it's not just people in places like that, because I was at a conference in Wilmington a couple of Fridays ago. There was a young lady there, we were the only 2 from Onslow County. And she works for a living here in one of our nonprofit organizations. And she talked about the fact that she cannot afford to get herself a place to live.
Well,
She's
yeah.
a grown woman with a college degree. She'd like to get out of her mama's house. And she cannot find any place to live in this county based upon what she's making with the organization that she's
And
working
even
with.
if she's working, the teachers can't find places.
Teachers cannot
What are the
afford
rents to Beecham? apartments?
I did some research, and Beecham have 1 bedroom for $650. So that's a 1 bedroom, and it was available about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but I don't think that's the case now. But the rest of them, they're not affordable. You're talking about $1,000, $1,200, and all of that, and you're talking about
So
To-
two
to make
bedrooms,
sure-
1,000?
It depends.
2 bedrooms could be 1,000. It all
Like I said,
depends.
we have
So we're talking about
1,200 at Town
Osprey.
Center.
We're talking about Osprey Point,
Yeah.
the old Beaches.
Okay, right.
Mhm.
So that's the situation as far as at Osprey Point. But going back to what you were saying, Ms. Marshall, you talking about the definition of affordable housing. I have been at several tables and explained to the audience that we're talking about workforce housing, we're talking about low income housing, we're talking about extreme low income housing. That's the type of housing affordable housing entails. Truth be told, some of us, we're barely paying enough to maintain and stay in the places that we live in because 30%, that's the HUD norm that you're supposed to be paying for housing. And I know people are paying above that in this area in this day and age. So when you're talking about affordable housing, supportive housing is the biggest that we're going to have because some people need to have case managers, peer support specialists to teach them how to live in housing.
Yes.
So we're going to have those type of housing. In my action plan, there is some funding available for the infrastructure for that type of housing. And we've had some developers reach out to us to request letters of support. So things are happening, but right now we're in crisis mode when you're talking about town center. But things are coming down the pipeline. I do know that Springfield Park Apartments, I think they're starting their second phase over there on Blue Creek School Road.
Yeah.
So we there are things happening, but as far as right now, people are going to find themselves, unavailable to find housing.
Also, because I'm reaching out to some federal groups, but, I can't tell you what we can receive. We're in communication, but until I have something, I won't even discuss it.
And it's basically an invisible population. It's the old story. Nothing is ever going to happen about that until there's political will to make it happen. And when people talk about we don't have any money to do anything, that's absolutely not true. There's always money to do what you want to do if you want to do it. And what you have here are people who are invisible. When they leave town center, they're going to evaporate into the wind. Because the first time it happened back almost 2 years ago, I wondered what happened. It was like I saw people outside driving through there, sitting on the porch, talking to each other, kids playing and so forth. And then a week later, it looked like a ghost town. And I was wondering to myself, where did these people go?
It
I know
faded.
where they went. They went on somebody's couch. They went on somebody else's floor. Basement. Well, no, there are no basements here.
I
But,
got a basement.
you know what I'm
Very
saying.
few
you know.
basements.
They're going from place to place. Kids are going from place to place. They have no stability, and which goes back to issues of schooling and academic achievement. And while you have people who are talking about these kids can't learn because they're this, that, and the other, try learning if you don't know where you're going to wake up tomorrow. Or if you're going to eat when you do wake up. And, during COVID, we did some things, meaning as a country, that were new, but extremely helpful. The one big thing I can think about is of those EBT cards that went to people who had children, certain age, and there was no means test. And I'm telling you, that was an impact that you can't even measure when a working class family got a chance to be able to buy groceries. They didn't even want the money. Just let me buy groceries. And when your eggs are going for $5 a carton, and you've only got $10 in your wallet, and you're trying to figure out how to feed 2 or 3 kids tonight, the conversations about eating healthy, nutrition, all that goes right on out the window because, you know, you're gonna drive through a window, it's gonna get you $2, one buy one, get one free, so you can make sure nobody goes to bed hungry, except maybe you. And we did that, and then we stopped it. And my question is, why? Because all I'm saying is that I'm very concerned about where people are going when they evaporate like that and you don't see them anymore, you don't have to deal with them anymore because you can't, and kids don't vote. So if you don't see them, then you can just forget about the fact that they exist. And these programs are wonderful, I really do, because home ownership is a thing. There are a lot of people who are renting who are worried about getting their home sold out from under them by an owner that wants to get in on this new bubble.
Right.
And instead of going ahead with a tenant that's been faithful for years and paid rent, took care of the property and so on, they're coming to you saying, you know, you gotta go because I found a buyer for this place and I'm trying to make my little, you know. So it's a multi-level problem, but I think underneath all of it is that we just have to figure out a way to address this. And I mean, unless you want to do what some cities are doing, which is step over people who are laying on the street.
Well, people are starting to do that here.
I know.
You know, it's not, and I always have that conversation that we don't understand homelessness yet because they have been in the woods. But if you don't work towards dealing with this issue, you can't arrest yourself out of this issue either.
Yeah.
And we knew Town Center was coming. We knew it, but we have to figure out how to deal with these things prior to those happening. Like, we need to be intentional about working with community development corporations that can help house different groups. We can't do everything, but we can work with others to do that can do the work, you know, so.
And so like the programs you have, when you got kids from kindergarten to 12th grade, you know, somewhere along this line, you've got to work with kids to get them to the place where when they get out of high school, there's a job waiting for them that they've already been trained for, or there's opportunity to get very specific training, and they know how to manage their money. You know, the things that people did 25 years ago, you're wondering what happened to all of that. When you taught young people in high school how to open up an account in the bank, how to write a check. I've been in line behind folks who don't know how to write checks and cashiers who don't know how to process a check.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's almost like you're getting people who are already grown and they've lived for a while and have lived in a way that they're not even functioning in the society that the people sitting around this table operate in.
Yeah.
You know, they've never had bank accounts. They pay, you know, I watch the commercials on TV where they're teaching young people, the young people talking about, because I pay my bills all the time doesn't mean I have any credit. Because the things you're paying with your money don't allow you to participate in the mainstream credit system. It only allows the owner of your home. So you can pay rent for 25 years and won't get a bit of you know, credit for doing that. So it's those kinds of things where it's going to take a whole lot more than what any of us are able to do with some of the programs. They're just part of the solution. And I think home ownership is a really important piece of it.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to circle back around and let folks know that as far as when the first round, you was asking about where the people went. Everyone that went through Onslow Community Outreach, they were entered into the Homeless Management Information System. So that data is still there. And they also had to agree to find accommodations and rent apartments within the city limits. So that's how my funding is. Onslow Strong Disaster Recovery Alliance, they offered money for those folks who wanted to live and move out into the county. So, you know, those folks, they were able to help assist them with some limited funds that they have. So those people were tracked into the HMIS system, and we can pull that data out. But we assisted about 134 families to come out of Town Center prior to the sale of the property.
And go into other
go to other
city facilities.
That's right. They stayed within the city limits. My my funds had to stay within the city limits.
Now, is there like a database somewhere that says, okay, we have 17 apartment complexes or whatever they call them, living units?
Well, the Board of Realtors, they would have all of the rentals that's available in Onslow County. And I talked with Christina, and she says there are no rentals that's less than $850 available in Onslow County.
So I guess, and that was just kind of leading on, it wasn't a price point. It was and how many of them units available out of those complexes that would meet that, I think we can't use affordable anymore.
Yeah, income-based.
Income-based, okay,
Threshold.
income-based.
That's gonna be low income, really.
Like
Yes,
Mr.
I
Howard,
compiled data for Mr. Ray, our city manager, about the affordable apartments that we have in the city limits. And I gave him that summation. I think he passed it on to city council. Most of these apartments have wait lists.
Okay.
Most of them have wait lists. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 that had 1 or 2 units
They're taken
available.
up.
And the reason why, I just bring this up, like right now, of the structure, because I want to say, like maybe right when I retired, I don't know how long ago, from the military, they were predicting these issues. And plus the flux of military personnel in there. So we're kind of like a unique city. If you take all of those military people out of there, you push them on base housing and things like that. And I don't know how many people that live in base housing, which are retirees and federal employees, that will get pushed out of base housing, where those numbers would be. But, and I guess this is like just me thinking solution-based right now, because we've been knowing about it, and it's a national thing that's going on. It's not just here in Jacksonville.
It's everywhere.
It's absolutely everywhere. So would it be time for our city government elected officials to begin to make more noise to our state elected officials, all at the same time, with the same thing in mind, not splintered from down here, and make a pitch? Hey, listen, we need help. Because I know, I think it was one time, I'm still proud to live in Jacksonville, but I remember when they said Jacksonville was one of the fastest growing cities, and man, I was like, yes. And everybody was like, yes, because that means something. We want to be a bigger city. But these problems or issues that we have here come with being a bigger city.
And I was having that conversation. I actually went over to Head Start earlier today and had some conversations with them. We've been a town for so long that we didn't understand that we were a city.
Okay.
I tell folks that there were certain issues that we didn't have here. And the mentality, just the way we led, things we should have saw forecasting that was coming. I don't think that was done. I'm gonna just be honest with you. That's my opinion. Town center, we started seeing those issues were there years ago, probably going back to '95.
They were further back.
But
They were there. Further back.
But the issue was, how do you deal with that, and also within the auspices of the general statutes dealing with those issues too. And we have to figure out, okay, like we can work with community development corporations. We can act as a housing authority. That's been proven. That's been a precedent here. So how do we work with other organizations that could build more capacity and that are community development corporations? But even before we go there, we have to start doing what we need to do at this level. Have those hard conversations, because everybody's not gonna say we need to do this or we need to do that. But we have to have those conversations here. Like I said, I reached out to other folks. I don't have anything at this point, but it starts here.
and let me close my loop and then I'll sit down. And the reason why I pushed it, because to my understanding, based on statutes, that the issue that happened over in Town Center specifically, it was because that is a privately owned corporation.
Corporation, right?
And the city can only enforce statutes or codes and things like that, okay? And because of that, that's how it kind of got pushed down the road a little bit. And so, and this is me asking for you guys as a city council, right? Our elected officials, even though that's a privately owned company, really begin to think about, no matter what ward you sit in, think about the citizens that voted you in, because this doesn't just affect Town Center, it affects the whole city. And when you guys, just a consideration, when you guys are talking, think compassion.
Well, that's not an issue with me.
No,
I lead with compassion. But let me
say
say this. We could do things like, if a business or somebody's coming in, a certain percentage of those can be income based.
I think that's what
Actually, we tried to do that with Town Center. They had a president of construction that came in, was blindsided, didn't know what was going on. They were finding people left and right within that community because you had a lot of squatters. And they brought in some individuals that actually was working in the offices, and they were just telling people, you got to get out of here. I mean, that was the conversation that was being had. But after working with that individual, and I will say his name, Brett Reese, it was a wonderful guy to work with. But it came to a point he had a health issue. He had to quit doing what he was doing. So, because we thought that we were going to have 130 units that could be used as income based, which would have been about 18% of the property. So I looked at that as a good start to what we could possibly do going forward. You know, we made some accommodations so they wouldn't lose certain units for the purpose of housing people in there and having those folks. But they didn't stick to the plan, I'll say that.
And this is the fourth ownership group
Is that
that
all?
we have dealt
That's
with.
right.
At least. I thought it was five.
Well, hold
And
on.
it could be five, close.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me finish. Because I was saying that wasn't a shot at you.
No, but I was explaining.
But I wanted, the reason why I'm saying to close the loop, right? Because now all of this information, you know, people knew it was going on. Now it's like out
It's
there
right here.
in public,
It's
it's
in our face.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And so to put it back in perspective, we can't do anything tomorrow about it. Probably we can't do anything the next year about it or the next 2 years about it, just because of capacity.
Right.
But as our city council member and our liaison
Right.
back to the city council, begin to think about the plan, the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan, and the 3-year plan that a city is supposed to have for everything.
And we do have, but we got to adjust it as it goes forth because certain monies are allocated. And I said about my compassion, but there are several people, and I know they have done certain things where they've come out of their own pockets to do things. But we understand those are only Band-Aids. We are having those conversations. I say that because, I mean, you cannot not have those conversations after something like this comes up. So we are working as a council.
Phoenix apartments are still income-based, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Tax credit,
And-
income based.
Right. And we provided some funding that assisted in the leverage of the funding
That is
that
correct.
they were able to get, and they operate their own housing office.
That is correct. So the
But they're the only
developer,
one
yeah, the
in the city
developer-
limits, right?
Yes, the developer, they have completed
Northeast.
nine projects like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very successful in doing that. And they still need to utilize CDBG funds, and they do that. And they put together, I call it a cake layered cake of subsidies to make a deal work, to make affordable apartments come here to the city of Jacksonville. So we have success stories. We just need to continue.
I mean, and we leverage some, land to actually work with an organization. They haven't began construction at this point over near the counties where they were supposed to be working on building some units. So those are things that we've, attempted to do. So, I mean, we got a whole lot more that we have to figure out.
So my job for the night is accomplished.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is
Yeah.
because like we sit in here and we know information,
Yeah,
Phoenix
people now out
Apartments,
there know.
people,
Corporate knowledge.
and
Yeah.
now they know
Yeah, they know.
that
Yeah.
we're
not
working
sitting,
on it.
but
That's
sitting.
because
still.
when they watch this meeting, they hear about all these great things, and then they hear on the other side about a town center, but
Right.
they don't hear about
Right.
people leveraging things, the city leveraging things. They're coming into corporate, joint ventures with things. Now they know that we're not just sitting in rooms with no solutions. We're trying to.
And one other thing I would like to bring up, because I had someone mention to me, we were talking about a streetscape project and the amount that it would cost to do that. And someone came in here and said, how do you talk about something like that with all these people out there? Unfortunately, we cannot shift some certain amounts of money what's been dedicated to other things. Unfortunately, we just have to plan better going into the future when it comes to dealing with these issues. And we have to, just like we bought 400 acres of property, if we could get that moving in the right direction, not only could we get more recreational space so we can make sure children are off the street, but also we could possibly get other things into our community, which will bring us more income that will allow us to do other things as well. So, it's so multidimensional, and I said we got to figure out a better way to communicate what we do, period.
Yes, sir. And the last question, and this goes back to Ms. Tracy. Now, since we are a housing authority,
Counseling agency.
counseling agent,
Yes.
does that bridge any gaps between the city and the county on different issues concerning housing, and how many people in the county don't have what they need?
So now
And
that
then you don't have to answer the last question, just the first one. How does that bridge a gap?
So
people know.
now that we are a certified housing counselor agency and we can also help those folks in the county, what I like to know and to think is every time that we're in front of anyone that's in our classes, in our seminars, that we give this type of information to them. We give them opportunities to further themselves and get out of any current unsanitary and undecent condition that they're living in. So we try to give them options. And of course, it's up to the individuals, but at least they will be exposed to the resources that are available for them.
Is there a counterpart in the county for you? Okay,
That's why you do what you do in the county.
Not that I know of.
not that you know. Okay, and
Well,
if
there's still
you're
the program out of Wayne County, isn't there?
There's our regional housing authority is located in Wayne County in Goldsboro, but we're not able to increase the number of low-income housing. That partnership came just to develop the low-income housing at Dudley Court, but after that,
Yeah.
then that was the gist of that.
There was a guy, Chris somebody at the county.
Chris Washington.
Yes.
He did the
That did those
IDA
functions.
program, and he also did some demolition, but when he left that position, I don't know who else came behind him and did
I think
that.
it was done away with after he left.
Yeah.
But there's a program out of Wayne County that serves several counties.
Mm-hmm.
It started years upon years ago,
Yes.
almost when I first got here.
Yeah,
So,
that was just to develop those 21 units, and that was it.
now I know that was like a closed, hey, we're gonna do this and the book is closed, but time and space has happened.
We still have to take a trip.
Yes, that's the trip. But is that something that could be reopened for consideration, knowing that this issue is probably going through all of the counties that they deal with, and maybe they have some type of pen on the board where they're thinking, hey, this is what we can do, but the information just hasn't been disseminated.
So this group out of Goldsboro, they in the development stage as far as affordable housing and the housing authority.
Okay.
We also have East Carolina Human Service Agency that acts as a housing authority when they're doing the Section 8 vouchers.
Okay.
So you got one that's like an administration program, housing authority, and then you have the one who actually do bricks and mortar housing development. So unfortunately, we don't have one that do both.
Now, would that be something like, especially the second one, the voucher program or whatever, would that be something that would be of interest to tell people the process? Not tonight.
Well, I can tell, because I chair the board over there, and my short answer would be that the problem with Section 8 is that voucher is worth a capped amount of money to use in the field.
Yeah.
It cannot be changed without federal change.
Right.
And
Explain what you just said by that, because I don't want to get deep into it, but
yeah,
it's
if I
capped.
had a Section 8 voucher, because we can have, when we open up we're legally required to open up the sign-in list, waiting list, periodically. Whether we have housing or not, you still got to open it up periodically. And last time we opened it, we had 502 people, 503 people show up on a 2-day trying to sign up for Section 8 because they know if I can get a voucher, they think if I can get a voucher and I can go find a place that will accept this voucher, then I don't have to worry about my rent. I mean, that's basically the short of it. Now, I'm not saying that's how, for the audience listening, please do not take that as a description of the actual process. That's what most people think in the community that have any experience with
So
this, like parents or whatever.
let's just think about
The
this.
problem right there is there are protected federal classes that you cannot discriminate against.
Okay.
And we all know about protected classes. Realtors are not violating federal law if they do not accept a Section 8 voucher.
Right.
You are allowed to discriminate against people not based on race or the number of kids in the family or anything like that. You can legally discriminate against people based upon the way they're going to pay your rent to you. And so that's what Section 8 people often run into, is that if you got a job and you're, low income or whatever it is, and they say, well, we're willing to rent a place to you, they can say yes or no, not based upon our protected classes, but based upon how you're going to pay your rent. If I've got a job and I can demonstrate that I have a job, then you as a landlord might say, okay, well, I'm willing to work with you and negotiate with you. If, on the other hand, I say I have a Section 8 voucher, and for whatever reason you decided I'm not dealing with that program, that's totally legal.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of times our clients, because they present with those vouchers, landlords are saying, I don't want to deal with that.
Currently, because of the caps, it wouldn't even matter because the rents are too high.
Yeah. You may be capped at $500,
Right.
and the place you
You
need
can't, if it's
for your
501,
family.
you can't utilize that for
Yeah.
a voucher.
And if you have a voucher for a certain number of family members, then there's issues about how many bedrooms they have to have, how many with sex children. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah, I didn't want to get too deep into it.
I know.
But if you can,
The
send
issue
me-
is people having the actual correct information. And once again, as you say, trying to move people in a different direction, because we, sitting around this table, we know that, or I feel like, and I'm concerned, really concerned, about how long some of these programs are going to go moving forward. Because everything now has to show the funders that I'm working with people that I'm going to move out of poverty. They're going to go out there on their own and be on their own, and we're going to be done with them, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And any program that you're running right now is in jeopardy, I think, because if it's not underpinned by that notion, then you're going to have a long-term issue. And for many people, these programs, Section 8, Head Start, and so on, they started back under the War on Poverty. That was 60 years ago. And there's a lot of concern, I have a lot of concern about how long the life is going to be. If we could get people on programs with the serious intention of moving them directly in your direction. And so you can get into a class, you can start working on that program, you can start doing these things, and then we wind up standing on TV, cutting a ribbon in front of a house you just moved into that you're gonna pay the mortgage on because we helped to move you from that place to here. I think is much more sustainable than what we have now. And the problem with town center is that it's the now, it used to be and it is now. And because of the way it's just a difficult situation with a lot of people who are, especially on what I call the short term, from one year to another. But
Maybe we could start doing, like bringing in a certain organization.
That's what I was kind
I
of
think that's
thinking
the
right
best
there.
way, yeah.
That's why I say I want to get too deep
Present,
into it.
yeah.
Just a presentation from
Right.
different means so people can understand. Because, and the reason why I said I think about like the home buyers class, right?
Economic mobility.
And we
That's
just
what-
kept
that's
up with
issue.
it. We just kept, hey, we brought that up almost every meeting. Hey, tell them again, and maybe something like that will help people move through the system.
Right.
Because seeing one success story is just, they read
I
the
know.
game.
Yeah.
But now you see
Yeah.
10 success stories, and it's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what am I doing? Why am I just sitting around here? They used to live next door to me. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I got an idea I'll shoot to you guys after the meeting is closed.
Yeah,
So-
we've been
We got some
playing with
stuff too, yeah.
some things about trying to having a housing summit or a
Symposium.
housing
Yes.
symposium
Now,
or
with this one here, it's going, I'm telling you. This
I'm
one here.
looking forward to seeing and hearing what you have to offer.
Yes, ma'am. So let's see if we can move on. Is everybody good with where
We're
we're at
good.
right now? Thank you so much. Our one city, our city, my city moments. Any other members have any of those?
I think we just did it right now.
Did you think
Our
so?
conversation around the
Yeah,
table.
that was it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
All right.
The main thing.
Hey, and I appreciate you guys for everything that you guys do, the solutions that you bring to our city. I would just like to spotlight all of the individuals who helped support the Black History Month programs that went around the city and the county. There were a lot of them.
Yeah.
yes.
I
There
would-
was no shortage of them this year, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Learning our heritage and celebrating.
Right.
So I like to just throw that out and say thank everybody for participating in those this year.
I would say that our children that was in our after-school programs did a wonderful job. They even allowed me to participate for a moment. So that was great. You're correct. It was a lot of programs that, like I said, all our history of this country is our history. It's not just one person's history or another person's history. It's our history. It's our collective history that makes us the country who we are.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
I will say I did want to acknowledge the Black History Month programs and specifically the chairperson of the Jacksonville Youth Council, Morgan McCrae.
Yeah.
She spoke this past Saturday as a panelist at the First Baptist Georgetown Black History program. And my understanding, because I was out of town, is she was the only young person in the entire event.
I was with her and she did a phenomenal
She
I
job.
heard
always
that.
does. She always
She
does.
did a
I
phenomenal
heard she
job. She
really
was
did
very
phenomenal.
well versed and well received by the other panelists and by the participants. So we're very, very proud of Morgan McRae.
Yeah, I was going to acknowledge you too. Yeah, Tracy, our director, she served on the panelists as well. Definitely want to appreciate her going and representing our department and being able to vocalize, just hearing a lot of the feedback that was given, a lot of the questions. It was definitely a great Black History Month program. And also recognize Onslow County for their first Black History program that they held last night and the attendance. So it was good.
Okay. All right, now, future agenda topics. Okay, it said neighbor.
Oh.
Okay, you have any?
If we just stay online,
Right.
also with, income-based housing, Because I think the only other income-based housing is the Sandy Run Apartments.
Right.
And that's it, Phoenix and Sandy Run.
No, actually, we have 9. We have a total of
Okay.
9 low tax credits. And
Smaller entities.
exactly, like Emmerdale, Foxhorn, we had their Arlington West Veteran Housing. There's several around the city that are low income, but we do have an affordable housing resource guide. So if anyone would like to get a list of those apartments, I'll be glad to, share that with you all so that you can share that out. But
Share it at our next meeting.
yep, but we do have a total of 9
Okay,
apartments.
thank you.
What about Webb Apartments?
No, ma'am.
I'm not saying he's in that, but what is I'm saying? If he have
Webb
any-
Apartments, they were flooded
I
in the
know.
last, and I don't think they've been restored. I'm not
He,
sure.
he tore down all the other ones and they just got the other ones built because I go to Chrome's Motor.
They
next
rebuilt
door.
them in the same spot.
No.
No, he didn't build
Okay.
anything. They torn down the one that
Okay.
was real bad. So, but I'm saying, if he has apartments that people could move into, because I'd rather see him move there than underneath the freeway.
Yeah.
Which I saw some lady sleeping on a pipe right there by, Courts Plus, where you walk through that hole.
Oh, yes.
There was quilts and stuff and they were laying down on there and I said,
Yeah.
it just, And that was when it was real cold.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have more because they said that we're the state that's growing faster than any other state. They move from Florida, they move it everywhere.
There's only
We
5
filled up.
states that are
Yeah.
growing. All the other 45 are losing population to those 5.
Yes,
And we are one of those 5
we are one of them.
that are drawing from all over the country. Moderate weather, low tax base. I know from where I come from, the amount of property and the kind of a house you can get for your
People selling property
401k
like crazy.
is light years here above
Yeah.
what you could get if you stayed there. And so people are just coming with
Mhm.
a U-Haul behind the car. And the first time they set foot in North Carolina is when they come
They
to move
buy the
into that house
property.
they bought on the internet that might be sitting on wetlands.
True.
Or things like Hampstead. That's exactly what they're not even coming here to see what's going on. They're just packing up.
They don't
coming
care.
on down. And so it's something else.
Okay. All right, so any questions or comments? Okay, we got these important dates that'll be coming up.
Yep, so looking at our upcoming schedule before our next meeting, we have our Jacksonville Youth Council meeting, which is this Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Our nonprofit executive director meetup on the 16th. Our community input meeting at New Beginnings Christian Center on the 16th. Homebuyer education on the 18th. Our Mayor's Youth Summit on the 25th. In April, we have our last community input meeting. And this is in regards to between the 16th and April 3rd, looking at the actual annual action plan for 23-24. So we are looking for feedback. April 7th, City Hall will be closed for Good Friday. Go ahead and mark your calendars. April 10th through the 14th is our National Community Development Week. This is an opportunity for us to highlight all that has taken place within the city with our community development department, and also where our advisory committee will be involved heavily as well. April 12th is our Jacksonville Youth Council meeting, and April 22nd is our money management seminar. Our next meeting is April 24th, and the last one for our fiscal year 23 will be June 26th.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks so much. We have any save rounds? All right, it's always hard to talk about, people in situations that are unfortunate, but that's something that we must do to get solutions. So we may not have the solutions in this room. Somebody watching may have some solutions or ideas of how we can help. So if you do, come on down, join one of your city volunteer boards or something like that, and, be a part of what we got going on in the city. Thank you, everybody, and once again, this is our first meeting, so Happy New Year. Do we have any save rounds? Anybody? Okay. That's ready. Got a motion to adjourn?
So
Motion. Second.
Thank you. All right, I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.